Okay, so our first guest today is Aurellia, and she is one of our student representatives for WEPA. She's going to come on and tell us a little bit about herself, her involvement with the coalition, and what she's been up to. Hi, Aurellia. Hey,
Hi.
girl, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you for joining us. I'm very excited to have you for our first podcast ever.
I know. Thank you for having me and
It's a
being a
pleasure.
guest.
It's my pleasure. It's all our pleasure. I'm sure everyone's going to love hearing from you. Yeah, you are one of our WEPA student representatives. And I guess my first question, what I'm sure people want to know are, what are some of the things that drew you to this position? And what are some of the aspects of WEPA as a coalition and our message of prevention that really attracted you?
Well, what drew me to this position was just the community, the active care for the community. It's just so overwhelming to see how much people care and have empathy and even sympathy or try to even understand someone's situation and not just for um like, oh, okay, this is what we do, this is how we help. No, we are open to have a wide range of prevention and not just for substance abuse. And it's really grabbed my attention to see a lot of youth involved. It's very moving, and for me to be a part of it is very monumental.
It is monumental. That's a great word to use for this particular situation because also, I knew from our brief conversation together that you were like this girl on fire, but I'm asking you these sort of intellectual questions and I'm getting very intellectual responses, which are really articulate and so exemplary, such a great example of what WEPA is. It's not just a community, but a community of very informed people, youth, families. It's intergenerational, and that's kind of what's going on here. There's almost a 10-year age difference between us, but here we are kind of united over this same issue of prevention. So that's super exciting.
That's what I love, is the
Yeah.
fact I'm able to learn from all different types of ages, and the different range of knowledge is just like amazing. And everyone comes from different backgrounds, different um aspects within their life and environments, and we need all these environments to see how um these situations play.
Right, yeah, because one thing you said was that we don't have sort of an agenda when it comes to prevention. We're very open-minded to hearing from populations of people who are navigating these issues with us. And that's something that sticks out to me as a part of the reason that I appreciate my involvement with WEPA as well, because you said we kind of don't come into things knowing or thinking we know exactly what the right answer is. We realize that as we navigate these issues, we're navigating the solution together with
Ex-
communities we serve and as a coalition.
exactly. And we are doing something about it, and that is like amazing to me,
Right.
because people can talk and talk and say this is an issue, hashtag stop Asian hate. I'm like, okay, you made a hashtag, what that gonna do? Is
Right,
that
right.
gonna make people stop hating Asians? No, like I don't know, I just keep scrolling when I see that, because it's just like, what are you doing? What are you absolutely doing?
Right. What you're saying
We
is that
are
we're back.
exactly. We are actively coming up with solutions, meeting weekly, analyzing, curating data, and all of that stuff. So
Right. Right. Absolutely. And I'm so proud to have someone like you on our team. So that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, like really what you just said about being backed by action and not just words is so profound for me because as someone in recovery, I was someone who was entirely my existence was based off of my false promises, false hope, things that I gave people. I'm going to stop soon. I'm going to get this taken care of tomorrow, right? False promises. And now I'm like united with this group of people who are entirely, who our existence is entirely funded and founded by our ability to follow up with a promise.
Exactly.
So that's, yeah, I appreciate that you shed light on that. That's really cool. So I guess moving more into like, not just your involvement with WEPA, but like, you came from a life before WEPA. So I want to know, like, and you're one of our student representatives. So you're younger than our founding members of WEPA. And I think we want to know, what are some of the fun things that you do alone or with your friends that you do or have done without alcohol and drugs?
Dance, drum. I since because of quarantine, I learned how to cook, and I love cooking. It makes me happy, makes my family happy, and what else? Before all this, why is he screaming?
It's okay, girl. Don't worry. But yeah, so I heard some really cool things. What I guess, like, so the point of that question is I kind of want to know, like, why are those things fun without the drugs or alcohol? Like, why don't you need drugs or alcohol to make those things fun?
Well, as far as cooking, when I start cooking, I just start flowing. I just start. I don't need a recipe. I can have a recipe and be inspired by it, but um, I used to smoke weed, and whenever I smoked weed, my brain was like not focused. I wasn't very attentive. I wasn't really here. And cooking without smoking makes me more present in the moment, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel everything flow and feel happy. And people smoke to feel happy. And if I found something that makes me happy without the weed, then it is possible for you to be happy without alcohol or smoking and drinking. And um, once I respected my body also, because I would wake up. I call it a high hangover.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it feels like when you wake up in the morning and you're drunk. All I have this headache. I can't get out of bed, and I just want to throw up. And this headache is so bad that, and it's like, why am I doing that to myself just to avoid something that is never going to be healed? All is I'm using it as a clutch. The real healing begins when you actively want to face the pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel any pain when I cook. I don't feel any pain when I dance. I feel free. And also, dancing is a way to release those emotions or create a story about that pain and that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and in that sense, it's almost like a way of processing pain, of even just, not blocking it out like drugs and alcohol used to help me do, but walking through it with grace and dignity.
hmm and it's not always grace and dignity at first. At first, it's just like slapping you in the
Wow.
face, and it hurts so bad. But
Yes.
sometimes, if you're strong enough, because not everyone's strong enough, to sit with that pain and sulk in it and ask yourself, like, detach yourself from that pain and really ask you that pain, like interview that pain, then you can really navigate on what is it that you're really hurting. For example, sometimes I find myself having negative thoughts, and when these negative thoughts come, I ask myself, why am I thinking this way? Is this thought really mine? Or yeah, is this thought really mine? Is this really how I feel, or is this how I want to feel? Is this how my ruminating mind has been trained? Like, really evaluate the situation. And sometimes that can be overwhelming also, but you have to remember that you're in control of that pain,
Mm.
and you can use it to your advantage or let it deteriorate you.
And that's essentially what I was doing when I was using drugs and alcohol before I cooked or before I danced, because I didn't actually get the chance or the opportunity to experience those things.
And that's exactly why when we have these meetings we talk about those things, because it's like when we don't have these resources or even that knowledge, because like I said, if you're not strong enough, people actually stay in that and never get out of that. And even when people try to help them, they don't allow people to help them. And if they do, they get someone that they think is helpful, but in actuality they're toxic just like you. Well, not toxic, I'm sorry, they're what's the word,
But I know what
they're,
you mean.
you know what I mean though,
I
right?
know exactly what you mean.
Okay, because I don't want to offend nobody.
Nobody, no, listen, this is like we keep it real here. And I love what you said, like keeping it real. Like I love what you said about sometimes not always with grace and dignity, because this can be really messy. And we
Yeah,
don't have to look pretty while we're navigating these things. There are no social standards for how you either recover or just make your life better, because guess what? Like it doesn't have to get bad before it gets really, really good. Because I also have someone coming on this podcast to talk about their recovery from drugs and from addiction to drugs and alcohol. However, it doesn't have to get there. And that's what prevention is about.
exactly. It doesn't have to get there.
It
Every,
doesn't have to.
and it's funny you said that, right? Because I find myself in a good place, and for someone who's experienced trauma all their life, like all their life, I'm still navigating that. Before I was 6 years old, I was experiencing traumas, and I didn't even know that until
Mhm.
now. So basically, all my life, and now this year, 19 years old, I've just now decided to. Well, I always been trying to heal from it, but I'm just not deciding like no more. I'm in control,
Mhm.
and every time I find myself in a good place or mindset, it's like I'm hunting for something bad.
Mhm.
And I saw something that said like, oh, it doesn't have to be bad all the time to make it good. Like you can have a good time in that good time. Like I wish I remember how it said it, but basically I don't have to feel bad all the time. I
Right.
can feel good, and when something bad happens, I can still feel good.
Right. I know what you mean. And for me, it's really the same, because it's like, even in, I'm in sobriety, right? And even though I have really bad days, they're still so much better and so much greater than the days I had before I was sober. Because yeah, they could suck, like they could stink, they could be totally, totally awful. But the truth of the matter is, like when I go to bed at night, I'm like, I know I'm okay. And that makes everything just good. Like that's the simplest and most accurate word. Like it's just okay and it's good.
Yep, I have on my wall. I have this. I'm not in my room right now. It's under construction. But I have on my wall is my whole name with a bunch of positive, motivating sticky notes, and one of them says, "At least I'm not as sad as I was before."
Right. And I actually made this
That's my motivation.
It's so funny because I actually made this post today on our Instagram account, Jubilant WEPA, and I posted this ridiculous dance that this professional man dressed in a suit is doing, and I wrote, this is what my friends think or this is what I mean when I tell my friends that I've been taking up new hobbies in recovery. And in the caption I wrote, like, at least I'm not running these streets being toxic. Like, yeah, some days I have bad days and I fail and I make poor decisions, but like, I'm not waking up in handcuffs, Aurellia, and I was for a while.
But once we normalize that we make mistakes and we don't have to be perfect, then we can actually feel free.
Right,
But no,
right.
social media puts that stigma in my mind.
Mhm.
Well, our mind, because I know I'm not the only one, that we have to be perfect. And that's not okay. I find myself like rotten because I'm like, oh, they're doing this, doing that, and living their life. But no, I can live my life too. Just don't have to be to social media.
Right, right. No, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. And I love relearning that every day because it's almost like I know that I don't need to be perfect, but I need to relearn that constantly. And I need to be reminded of those things by my friends and my network and my WEPA prevention squad. Like, that's why you guys are here for me. That's why I'm here for you. That's why WEPA exists, is so that we can all remind ourselves of the lessons we already know, but forgot a million times.
Uh,
Right. No,
I'm
but
laughing because I'm laughing at myself, but it's no longer a hate laugh. It's just because it's funny to me now. Because I would see, or like a year ago, memory of a status, I would say, and I would say something like the most wisest thing, and I look at myself like, so you knew that, but you just did it again.
right. No, but girl, that's my life. Like, it is my life, and it's common.
but but
Me-
also, I'm in this place where it's kind of dangerous.
Mm,
It's like, okay, now it's more implanted in my brain, and I'm more aware, and it's like sometimes I just feel the need to do it because I don't. Okay, how do I explain this? Just how I just feel like the need to do it just because I want to, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, it's comfortable.
yeah, or just to piss myself off. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like because you already know, like those toxic behaviors, I already know the outcome is going to be toxic. So I don't have to sit and wonder. It's like trying. It's like the
Okay,
word trying. Like
yeah,
I don't have to try. If I don't try, like I know I fail. If I try and I fail, it's because I wasn't good enough, right? But in sobriety, in this, like in active prevention, when involved in the strategy of prevention and the practices of prevention, like I learned that failing is okay. Exactly what we're talking about. That failure is actually a part of being human. And that in that respect, we're already perfect.
excuse me. Yeah, and it's a part of growth.
A part of growth. Yeah, absolutely. A part of growth. Wow, cool.
And the thing that makes me upset though, and still trying to navigate within my own family, is
Mm,
how to how to get someone to actually want to help themselves.
mm,
Because even people can have all these resources and still don't want to help themselves, or feel like they don't need help.
yeah.
And that makes me even more sad.
It's sad. It's just, but so what I've learned is that's exactly what it is, and nothing more, because there's nothing to do. What It's just sad. It is sad. But I know that as long as I'm walking the walk and I'm practicing the principles of prevention and whatever methods of recovery or self-help or growth I'm working in my life, that I'm leading by example. And some days and most days, that is all that I can do, is lead by example.
Exactly. And that for me is hard.
It's very hard every day. It's hard. Yeah. But and I'm sorry. I wish I could give you a hug right now because I feel you. Like I feel that. I know that pain. I know that pain.
Yeah, I'm like, it's really hard, and I'm like, just the start of being the leader, and it's like when you're surrounded by others who are not following what you're doing, you're more prone to do what they're doing. And it's like you gotta be the stronger one all that time, and I have to hold all that weight on myself.
Yeah,
And
so
it's a
I
big
know what you mean.
responsibility that nobody talks.
Right. And I know what you mean.
But
And
I know it's yeah, and I know it's worth it all in the end. And I have to just remind myself of the bigger picture, and just that it's not only for them, it's for myself also. Because if you want change in the world, you got to be the change.
right. That's really powerful. And I know like that I've also, and a lot of days I feel like that too. But I have learned to look at, right, like you said, no one taught me how to do these things. Like Aurelia, me too. No one taught me. No one taught me how to do these things, right? But today I have the people to teach me, like the people I'm involved with in WEPA, my coalition members. Like today I get to
Yeah,
learn.
great.
And that to set that example is not a responsibility, it's an opportunity. I get the opportunity to show up for things that nobody taught me to do. That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful, Aurelia, that you get to show up
Tell
today,
them, girl.
right? But we get that. You and I, we get that. We get that opportunity,
Yes, and people
right?
don't get that, and that's why I love this community, because I get to share these things and not feel judged, and we can actively do something about it. And we're kind of like our superheroes.
What Nikki says to me, that's what Nicole Johnson, one of our WEPA representatives, says all the time. We are like superheroes with superpowers. We just become these really, really powerful beings. And it's like the power doesn't come from us, it's given to us. And it's given to us by these principles that we practice. And that's what's so amazing is like, Aurelia, I didn't learn all those. I didn't know all those things I just said to you. I didn't know them years ago. I was taught those things by people in my network. I had none of that. Like those bits of wisdom are all regurgitated information. That's all been said to me. That's the only reason I know that stuff. So that's really cool. And it's something to look forward to because I know this stuff is hard and it is all the time. But my coping mechanisms and my ability to navigate things like that grows and evolves and gets more, it gets stronger. But it takes a lot of work. But ultimately, I've learned that the hardest things in my life became the greatest assets about myself with enough work.
Yes, I agree.
Anyway, I think we're gonna wrap up in a few minutes, but I definitely wanted to get I wanted to ask you two more questions. And I wanted to ask, I guess, why you would recommend this opportunity to be a WEPA representative to someone who is around your age or someone who is just young.
Well, if they didn't catch that from what I just said,
Right.
then I don't know what else to say.
For itself.
We're superheroes.
Right.
We are a community, a true definition of a community, and we actually are actively helping. Is it helping the cause?
Yeah. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
you said all this. Like you already covered it.
Yes.
Scrap that. I don't need that question. You already covered it. So then my final question, what I want to leave our listeners off with is like, I want to leave them with the information about what positive outcomes do you hope will emerge from your personal involvement with WEPA?
I'm sorry, this whole conversation just uplifted me.
Oh,
I was feeling so down.
Oh, I love that. Me too, though. Me too. That's how this works. That's how prevention works, is people connecting with each other and uplifting each other.
And I'm just getting emotional because I was thinking small, but just talking to you has made me regain consciousness of myself.
Stop. I can't. You better not cry.
I'll try not
You
to.
better not cry. I'll be so mad at you, because if you start crying, I know.
I'm
Stop.
joyfully
I'm in a
crying.
very
Help.
emotional state today. I'm in a very emotional state.
Me too.
We cannot be up on here on this podcast just crying together. We cannot.
Oh,
Stop. Look at my eyes. I'm getting teary. Stop.
oh
God,
man.
well, listen.
I just personally see myself grow with knowledge and just being the person that I envision, and just to have that support and the people that actually are gonna push me to those limits.
Mhm.
Oh, I had a deja vu.
Mm.
Yeah, that's oh my gosh.
Girl, that is so powerful. This whole interview has, I feel like, I feel so grateful that I got you on here today, and I'd love to do this again. I feel proud.
I just feel confident, and to know that we are actually going to do the things that we say, because we have such a powerful team.
I'm really, really proud to call you a member of our team. I am really, really proud of who you are. Really. So listen, I think this is a great place to end, because I 100% need to have you back on this podcast. You are such a force to be reckoned with. For real. Like, for real, you have fire in you, Aurellia. I see that fire, and it reminds me of myself. And it just was like, I know you're on this earth to do amazing things, and I feel like you know that too.
Yes. And everyone says that to me, and it kind of drives me nuts.
It should drive you nuts. You know why it should drive you nuts? Because that's motivation. Like, if those things don't drive you nuts and cause you to get out of your comfort zone, then like what where's the motivation? Like, what exists if you're not actually bothered by the fact that like you're not exactly where you need to be? But at the same time, like, you need to like, where you want to go is where you're. I want to say to you right now, where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. But everyone around you is supposed to see the fire in you, because we love you. Please.
And you telling me not to cry now?
Don't do this. Please don't do this to me.
I'm gonna try to laugh it off.
Laugh this one off, because I cannot be up on here hosting this podcast and crying into my Zoom camera. I can't. But I'm proud of who you are, and I want you to know that it's okay it's okay for people to see that stuff in you on the days that you don't see it in yourself. Please.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's okay. Like, you can let that bother you, but also appreciate it, because like, it's like I said to a friend recently, like, I'm going to harass you to become your better self. Like, I'm going to keep harassing you, and I don't harass people I don't love. Like, if it means me blowing up your phone on the daily, like, I will. That's what I said to her, because that's what a network does. Like, that's what our coalition is. Like, it's a support network. And when you need to reach out to me, you reach out to me. When you need someone to scream at or just like, cry to, laugh with, You know, you have numbers now. Like, that's what I'm very proud. I feel like, wow, this interview has lit me up. Like, I am really on fire.
Yeah, we both look like
I know.
we both look like
I'm like ready to conquer the world. Like,
right? I'm ready to go outside on my daily walk I was supposed to go on.
like take off, like to infinity and beyond. Right?
We both had this face like,
I know.
oh, we have to do this.
Well, I know. No, I know. This was such like an unexpected emotional journey. Like, wow. Wow. Amazing. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you go. I want to thank you again. I'm sure our listeners are very, very appreciative of the messages you brought us today. And I'm sending you a huge hug. And I really cannot, big hugs. I cannot wait to get you back on here. You really inspired me today. Thank you.
You did too.
You're amazing.
You too.
All right. Mwah. Call me anytime you need.
You too.
I will. I'm going to take you up on that. I'll be harassing you too.
Okay.
All right. Bye, Aurellia.
Bye.